Today we are going to talk about theme. Theme. Theme is the moral or lesson that the author wants the reader to learn from the story. It is universal. It applies to all of us. Now, theme is very different from topic. When we talk about topics, we're talking about one or two words on which a story focuses, and stories or texts may have more than one topic. For example, some topics that are discussed in The Outsiders are family, friendship, self-defense, innocence, belonging. What are some other topics that are discussed in The Outsiders? Some of those other big ideas. So how does this differ from theme? Well, a theme is an opinion stated as a complete sentence about one of the topics that we as readers can learn and apply to our own lives. For example, when Johnny tells Ponyboy to stay gold, he is telling him and we the readers to stay innocent and don't change. So the theme would be stay innocent and don't change. That's an opinion and it deals with the topic of innocence. And please note, stories and texts can have more than one theme. So how is theme different from central idea? This is important because they are very different things and you need to be able to differentiate between them. Talk about central idea. The central idea is a main idea. It's very specific to a story or a text. So the central idea of The Outsiders would be more like Ponyboy Curtis writes his English paper to tell the struggles that kids from the poorer class face in hopes that it will show that there is still good in the world. This is not like the theme. The theme of stay innocent and don't change can apply to all of us, where this central idea applies only to The Outsiders. Because the central idea statement uses names, events, and details from the text. If central idea is specific to a story, how do we find the theme of a story? We start by looking for clues. And one clue that we can look for is we can look at the title of the text. For example, how does the title of The Outsiders give us a clue as to one of the possible themes of the story? We talked about a topic being belonging, and The Outsiders, they don't belong in that upper middle class. Even Ponyboy, we talked about, doesn't really belong in his group of greasers. What could be some topics or ideas of themes that the Hunger Games would point to? How would that title help identify a theme? So one clue is to look at the title of the text. You can also watch for statements of theme. And sometimes the author just tells you what they want you to learn from the text. This usually happens at the end of the book. If it occurs, it's going to be near the end. Here again, stay gold, Ponyboy, stay gold. Johnny tells us what the theme of the story is, or one of the themes of the stories. You can also look at the main character. Okay, so you can look at the conflicts the main character faces. You can look if the main character changes in some way. What lesson does the character learn? And this really applies to Ponyboy in the story because he learns from Dally that being hard comes in handy. And he faces conflict with the Socs and others judging the greasers as a whole. But he learns throughout all of that although being hard comes in handy, he really does also learn to stay gold as well. And we could see that with different evidence of the text that shows where he becomes hard in the moment, but then he turns around and he keeps that kindness that he has. And then of course we can look at the main conflict or the climax of the story. And here we have to look beyond the specific characters or struggles that are taking place in the climax. You have to look more at the bigger ideas that are involved in the conflict. When we look at the rumble between the Socs and the greasers, we have this bigger idea of belonging and how people fit into their role of society. And in the church fire, we have Johnny, who struggles with being nervous and scared all the time, to suddenly he becomes brave and does the right thing. So we can look at the main conflict and look at those bigger ideas or bigger struggles that are involved. Look beyond those specific characters. So we kind of talked about what the bigger ideas or topics are that are occurring in those pictures, but keep those in mind. What are some other bigger ideas or topics that you can see in those pictures? And so just a quick review. Theme is the lesson or moral of the story. This is very different from central idea. When we talk about topic, that's one or two words, and the theme is an opinion statement that focuses around one of those topics. And we can use the title of the text, the main character, the main conflict, or we can just watch for a statement of theme throughout the story. Okay, and how does this help us? Well, when we learn themes and morals from other stories, we can apply those to ourselves and our own lives to make us better people and more well-rounded. All right, remember, knowledge is power.